if we're going to talk about time, and the expectations that we got to give to our customers.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of shops tell customers 10 to 20 minutes I can fix that phone, and that's great.
Sure.
Normally you can get that done, but what's going to happen is that customer's going to drop that phone off, and in 10 to 15 minutes they're going to probably stay inside the store.
Yep.
That's one thing.
Yep.
And that's okay for them to stay inside the store, but that puts a little bit more pressure on a technician
Absolutely.
to get things done and get it done in that 10 to 15 minute frame.
Yep.
So most customers understand that a repair, don't understand how long it's going to take to fix a phone.
Correct.
They just wanted that done the same day.
Right.
Which is perfect.
Right.
So we like to go, and the sayings that we use are, it's going to take 45 minutes, give or take, depending on my workload. So, and I say to them, if I get 4 or 5 customers walking through the door and you see we have 3 or 4 people here, I'm going to have to get up from the workspace and take care of these customers, so it might take me a little longer. Right. So being transparent about the time is important, and telling them just like I did to your customers is important you do. So if you want to say it normally takes 15 to 20 minutes, that's perfectly fine. I don't think it's a good move.
Right.
I think you should go 45 minutes to give you that buffer, so if something happens. But what are some of your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, we're talking about managing customers' expectations, right? We really want to kind of under-promise and over-deliver, right?
I love that.
That's what we're really trying to do, and that can be tricky at times. I know here, at TechyU, we have the FIFO, right? We do first in, first out, right? So that means you could have 5 or 6 repairs before you actually get to customer's repair, and next thing you know, you created a bottleneck for yourself when you're communicating 10, 15, 20 minutes on the repair. Do repairs take 10 to 15 minutes? They could, right? Once I begin working on them, right? And is that the communication that you gave to the customer, right? It will take me anywhere between 20 and 30 minutes once I can physically start working on it, but I may not be able to work on it until roughly 2 p.m., right?
Yeah.
So you can kind of give them an estimate, but use industry standards, right? When you know that certain types of repairs in the industry take a certain amount of time, leverage that. Use that knowledge. Most customers, as you mentioned, don't know how long it takes to fix a device. We assume they do because we're in the industry and we're so close to it.
And we assume they want
they have
fast,
no
fast,
idea.
fast, fast, fast,
But I think one of the best questions that we can ask is, what is the priority level for you? What do you use this for? Is it business or is it personal? And that will totally change the opportunity of, hey, I can bring this to the front of the line, maybe have an expedited fee for that, bring in a little bit more revenue. But these are just little tactics and little tricks of peeling the onion and managing that customer's expectations.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think the main point of the time is the transparency is one thing, and the stress of the tech, but it's just understanding that it's okay to take longer on a repair. Sure. Just letting your customer know that it's going to be a little longer, and tell them, look, I'm going to call you once it's done.
Right.
And if I have your number, then I'm going to email you. Or is there another way to contact you?
Exactly.
And make sure that you ask them that and say, I'll call you. Look, this normally takes 45 minutes, give or take, depending on my workload. But once it's done, I'm going to call you. If I can't get a hold of you, then call me. Here's my flyer. Call me before you come here, because I don't want to put stress on the tech, and I don't want to put stress on the customer. So I want everything to be like a give and take.
Well, how many times are we working on people's phones, right? And then we have to get in contact with them and we didn't get an email. We don't have another point of contact, right? And then there we go. We're not managing the customer's expectations because we have no way of getting in contact with them because we're working on their phone, right? So making sure that you're peeling the onion and getting a good source of contact to manage that expectation and that workflow process is clutch, right? And again, depending on the type of device that you're working on, right? So let's talk about computers for a second. There are a lot of different issues and diagnostics that have to take into a computer repair. Very difficult to give any type of certified or qualified time with that, right? So we really need to make sure that we manage the expectations on that and focus with the customer. And the only way to do that is to stay in constant contact.
Correct. Yeah, it's so important that you continue to reach out to your customers, continue to let them know, and prioritize on your repairs too, like you talked about before. If you got a customer that came in for a computer repair and they know it's going to take a day or two to do, and you just had another customer come in and wants their phone fixed a little faster, then you can put that off to the side and work on this. So you have to prioritize too, like you talked about before, on that time so you can get those customers. Now, I'm not saying turn away. Like, here's an example. A customer comes in like, I need my repair done in 30 minutes. Okay? I'm not saying you can't say, absolutely, I'll get that done for you. And skip the line like you talked about. You can do those kind of things, but you got to make sure you get that done. Because again, like we have all heard this, time is money. And it's not just time is money for you, it's time is money for the customer. So we need to make sure we're transparent with them and they understand these things that are happening, not just behind scenes, but in the front of the house too.
Yeah, well, I think a big mistake that we make as well, just in general, is we take the customer's word for what the issue is, right? So many times phones or devices come in, the customer says, oh, I dropped it, I ran it over, it won't power on, and we're thinking, okay, based on what this customer is telling me, the repair is going to take X.
I love that.
Needless to say, we start opening the phone, we do our free diagnostics. Oh boy, there's a lot going on with this phone. It's going to take a lot longer. Now we just put our foot in our mouths, right? Because we communicated a time based on the customer's diagnostics that was not completely accurate. And here we are kind of in a bottleneck again, right? It's our job to tell that customer, hey, this is what's going on with that phone, and this is what you can expect after we've had a chance to do our diagnostics.
I love that you said after the fact, because you don't want to scare the customer and go, whoa, whoa, whoa. You know what I mean? Just, it's a diagnosis, 10 minutes, right? Say, hey, I'm going to absolutely look at this. Give me your number. I'm going to call you and let you know how much more time I may need or may not need. This could be a quick fix. This could not be. Let me just give you a ring in 10 minutes, and I'll dial it in a little bit more. But so that's something that you can do so you don't scare the crap out of them.
Absolutely. I think one of the biggest, in my experience, where you really you start getting a little frustration or upset from the customers is when that device is used for business, right? If that individual customer is using that device to generate revenue, to support themselves, to support their families, that's when you start really catching heat quick, right? So I think it's so important that you ask that question, because then even so, that's a great revenue generator, because chances are that person's going to accept that expedited fee, right? Hey, I have a $35 expedited fee. I can get started working on this now. How does that sound? If that customer is using that device for business, I guarantee you probably 90% of the time, they're going to take that expedited fee because they need to get that device back in their hands, because that's how they make money.
Yeah, so let's just recap a little bit about what we're talking about, and I can give you kind of a quick little scenario. But like the way we do it here at TechyU, and you could be doing it different at your locations, but we say it's like, let's call it an average repair. An average repair takes about 45 minutes, give or take, depending on our workload. You know, if I get multiple customers coming in, it's going to take me a little longer, but I'm going to call you once this device is done. And here's our flyer. You can call us if you want an update. And this is going to really free up space for the technician and the customer, so there's a little bit of wiggle room, so you don't feel stressed out and having to get it done right then, right now. So that's mainly what this is about.
Make a note real quick about all the times with Jonathan, how he said 20 minutes and several times. Just say like at my...
Yeah, and so we've seen this at our locations, and this is why we're bringing this up. I mean, I've seen it hundreds of times where they'll tell a customer, it's going to take me 20 minutes. And that customer stays in the store, now puts the pressure on them. Now, if another customer walks through the door, he tells that customer 20 minutes. Now you got two phones in 20 minutes. And you could already see the customers getting heated or frustrated as the time gets closer and closer. And then when they come back and they go, hey, it's been 20 minutes, and you go, oh, I'm so sorry, I haven't even gotten to it yet.
Yeah, I haven't even gotten to it yet, and that's where it really starts getting buried. The other thing, too, is I would say if you have a lot of warranty issues, right, if you're having a lot of devices come back to you, I would look at that communication about the timing, because that puts pressure, right? Now you're rushing, right? You're not doing the full due diligence. And if you keep having devices that are coming back with issues and warranty issues, look at that communication, the customer, and the timing, and how they're managing that expectation, because they could be putting a sense of urgency under them that's not needed, and ultimately causing them to kind of not do the repair 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, time is so important. The way you know, communication is key success in anything you do. And so we just wanted to talk a little bit about time and the importance of you being transparent with your customer and communicating with them well. So thank you so much for joining us. You have any last thoughts?
Nope. We appreciate your time.
That's TechyU.
Perfect.
Awesome. How long was that?